everyone to our webinar, Last Minute Holiday Marketing Ideas to Drive More Retail Sales. Now, I assume you're all here because you haven't started your holiday marketing yet and you know you need to right away. The truth is that people are out there shopping now, and some have actually been shopping for at least a month or two. Even with the big holidays and the end of the year just a few quick weeks away, you still can put together a successful marketing campaign that's going to help you to attract those last-minute shoppers and increase your sales this season. So I wanted to start out today by taking a look at a few stats. So a month or two ago, we actually ran a small business pulse report, and we found that consumers are making it a priority to shop from small businesses right now. We found that 71% of those that we polled said that they plan on buying items on their shopping list from small businesses. Shoppers also seem ready and willing to expand their horizons this year. 62% are actually planning to visit a new small business that they've never been to before the year is through. Now, the ability to sell online is really going to play an even bigger role and be critical to your success this year as well. In that very same survey I mentioned, only 10% of shoppers said that they are going to need to visit a physical store location to buy. And that's all because we've seen that e-commerce has actually increased by 30% as a result of the pandemic. And we're actually anticipating that aside from home delivery options, buying online and pickup in store will actually be here to stay and continue into the new year moving forward. And all of this with the pandemic that's ultimately led to 7.4 million new digital buyers this year. So a lot to keep in mind as you're going through your holiday planning. Now, even though we know that consumers are ready and willing to shop small and buy online, we also know that a lot of small businesses unfortunately still aren't selling online, which really I feel is missing a huge opportunity, especially in the climate this year. Now, in our last holiday planning webinar back in October, we polled our audience asking, what e-commerce tools are you already using? And you'll see in the bar on the left of the chart there, 50% of our respondents said that they weren't currently selling online. And that's really why today we want to be showing you some simple ideas and tips that you can implement even with the last minute holidays right around the corner, and some ideas to help you sell online as well. And while we are talking about retail today, if you're in a different industry or you have a different type of business, that's okay as well. Many of these tips and suggestions can be applied to those other businesses. And even if you don't plan to sell online, the tips today will also allow you to bring more people into your store. Now, with all of that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at the agenda for today's webinar so that we can see what we're going to cover. We're going to talk first about setting yourself up for success. Then we're going to talk about staying top of mind with existing customers and followers. We're going to be talking. I just got a message saying that my connection was kicked off for some reason. I'm so sorry about that. Can everybody hear me? Rachel, can you hear me? So sorry about the technical difficulties, everyone. Everything was working fine before. Let's see, Rachel, it seems like you're muted here. Rachel,
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Stephanie, I can hear you. I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Sorry about the the technical difficulties. Hey, this is the world we live in, right, Steph?
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that, Rachel. I think my connection was actually kicked off for some reason, so hopefully it will stay on like it is supposed to.
No worries.
So let's go ahead and let's get started for today. Let's go ahead and talk about actually setting yourself up for success. And I wanted to kick today's webinar off here with a poll. So I'm going to launch it on your screen. And so now you should be seeing the question, when do you typically plan for the holidays? We're really just curious on our team on when most of our customers and even attendees for the webinar today are planning for the holidays. It might be October or earlier, November, December, or maybe you're brand new to this and you're not even sure when the best time to plan is. We want to know. And we also know we have people out there who are not typically planners, and maybe you just like to wing it. That's okay as well. We'll give
Or some of
everyone a
us
few
that
minutes.
wish we were planners.
I'm on the planning side of things. Rachel, it sounds like you like to plan, but maybe it doesn't turn out that way.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Gotcha. So most people are saying they plan in October or earlier, 32% in November, and currently 13% in December. And a small portion of that are saying they are new to this. Give everyone just another minute or two. But I know here at Constant Contact, and we're seeing that in the poll results here today, we typically see that the majority of our small business customers, they start planning in October or maybe even a little bit earlier. And we also know that we've ran into people who don't typically plan until this time of year as well. All right, so we see about 52% in total have voted who are attending the webinar today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you so much for, you'll see the results here on the screen. 45% October or earlier, second was November, and then actually 16% of people saying they're new to this, and then December. So awesome, thank you so much for sharing that with us today. All right. So as you're getting started with your holiday planning this time of year, I just want to share some key dates to think about that are going to be important to a lot of your shoppers. So first up is Hanukkah, running from the 10th of December through the 18th. Next up is what we call Super Saturday, which is that last minute push for shopping for a lot of people. And that's because it lands on the Saturday before Christmas. Then, of course, Christmas on the 25th, and then Kwanzaa running from the 26th of December to January 1st. So as we said a few minutes ago, I at least hope you heard that before my internet cut out. So many smaller retailers, unfortunately, still aren't selling online. Now, Rachel, could you tell us a little bit more about why it is so important, especially in today's climate, for people to get their business and sell online?
Yeah, I mean, simply put, it's convenient for your shoppers, especially this year, where people are looking to buy a lot of their basic needs even online just because they don't feel confident or comfortable going out. Some people might be worried about, the safety in terms of like, going even to the grocery store. I know I have a son, my son has asthma, so I'm like trying to find everything I can online to prevent myself having to go out. So if you're not making your products available online, you're missing a huge opportunity for those people that want to purchase your products, but again, may not feel confident enough to actually go out and get it themselves. So
Great point. Now, I know we as consumers, myself included, we've become so used to being able to shop online for a few of those reasons. Now, I'm in the process of trying to find gifts for my friends and family to send out, and I was doing some Googling. It was just yesterday or the day before, and I found this really cute shop in the search. I clicked on it. I ended up at their website, and I was so wowed by some of the pictures that were on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This looks awesome.
yeah.
I'm going to purchase it. And unfortunately, there was no online store. I couldn't make that purchase right then and there. And it was really disappointing for me because I was ready to give my money. Now, yes, I'm going to make a plan to get out to that store, to the physical location, but I kind of have to plan it because I have a small child and I know a lot of people do. So, I was ready to buy right then and there. And having a website, unfortunately, just isn't enough for a small business anymore. You're probably missing out on a lot of sales if you're not able to sell online. Now, even with this last stretch of the holiday season, of course, it's inching closer and closer. So you've got to do something quick if you're going to be able to set up a store. And we've got our shoppable landing pages feature. Quickly add a few items to your store so that you can begin selling online, and you can do it in just a few minutes. No matter which package you have in Constant Contact, if you purchase a new one today or whether you don't already have an account, it will be available to you. Now, keep in mind there is a 1.5% transaction fee for each order, but I really do believe it is going to be worthwhile for you to set something up, even if it is just for a few of your products. Now, we do have another webinar that specifically walks you through setting up the shoppable landing page. And we have Jake who's helping behind the scenes. Jake, if you could share a link to that in the questions window, that'd be great. Rachel, could you share some other kinds of tips that will help our audience get started selling online quickly right now?
Yeah, I know this can seem, especially if there's those of you that don't currently sell online, this can seem like a really daunting task, especially since, right, we're in December, we're in a really large shopping, especially online shopping period. The thing is you don't have to sell everything. You don't have to sell your entire store online, especially getting started. Pick your top selling items. Pick those three things that people just purchase a lot from your shop or your store and put those on. Use the shoppable landing page. It's a great way to kind of test into this and see how your consumers or even getting new people to buy from you. If you don't have the ability or you don't want to kind of get into the whole shipping scenario, Steph mentioned earlier, the ability to buy online and have people pick it up in store is really big this year. And, like Steph said, it's probably going to be sticking around for a long time. So giving people those options is always best, especially because we're talking about those last minute shoppers here. And I hate to put myself in this bucket, but I am. If I don't think I'm going to get it on time, I'm going to make the trip out to pick it up, and that just puts more money in your business's pocket. So giving your consumers those options to do curbside pickup or pick up in store is a really great option too, to get stuff online.
I love it. That's a great option and something to point out that's big this year. Now, once you're prepared for online shopping, it's important to start to think about a few other things that last minute shoppers are going to be paying attention to. What are they valuing? Now, what are some other things? You've already mentioned safety, convenience of buying online. What are some other things that people typically value during the holidays?
This year's tough. A year where unemployment has hit a record high, it's really no surprise that price is a sensitive consideration. It's a top consideration for a lot of people, especially, we did a recent poll of a consumer poll and a survey where we asked a number of different questions, and more than 36% of consumers that we did poll said they would choose the cheaper option. And it's actually a really significant factor for those over the age of 55. And after price, people are, again, this time, when can I get it? Is it going to get to me in time? Is it going to get to me before I need to give it to this, for this holiday? And that is the next most important thing to shoppers. Folks between the age of 18 and 24 rank this actually even higher than price. They are wanting it now and they're willing to pay, to have that. If you look at what's next, free shipping, people kind of expect this. I think now it's almost surprising if you don't have an option to get free shipping. I think they're used to, having this option to, if you want to get it faster, you can pay for that, but there's always that free option. So if you're able to offer free shipping, that's a great thing to do. If you're not, maybe you can kind of play around with how it can make sense for you, and maybe you offer free shipping, after a certain purchase amount, like maybe after $50 worth of products or something. There's always ways you can kind of factor these things in and really kind of make it convenient for customers at the same time. It's hard to guarantee delivery these days because there is so many people buying online, and I think a lot of the delivery services are experiencing delays. So I would be hesitant to use that word guarantee on your website, without that caveat. But again, giving those consumers the option to buy it online, pick it up in store, or use the curbside service. Maybe they want to pay extra to get more of that guarantee and more priority shipping. Again, those folks that really prioritize that fulfillment over, price, they're gonna probably pay extra to get that overnight shipping fee. So just giving them options is really good. Safety, again, we've talked about it. It's an important factor this year, and I've seen some really interesting things. And small businesses are at least in this area, I've gotten a couple of emails where they're actually offering private shopping experiences. And I thought, wow, that is so creative. You know, if you think about if you're a shop that maybe closes at 7 p.m. on a normal day, maybe stay open till 9 and offer different time slots for people to fill, their shopping needs and get that sense of, okay, it's just me, it's just my family. I feel, a lot more safe doing that than being in a crowd of people. And you could even, gain some extra revenue doing that. Maybe charge a little extra to have that private experience. So it's kind of like a VIP thing too, kind of makes you feel like you're a celebrity. So yeah, those are some of the things that I think would be really, really top of mind for folks this time of year.
Definitely. All great points. And what I want to point out with free shipping is a lot of businesses I see have that threshold, like maybe spend $50 and then you can get the free shipping. Me as a consumer, I am always like, tempted, I'm just $10 off. Why not throw in one other item that
Yeah,
I actually want just so I can get that free shipping? So definitely a good
definitely.
option to increase the price of your orders there. Now, as a consumer, are there any promotions that you've seen that have really stood out to you?
I'm a sucker for loyalty stuff. So if you offer a loyalty membership, I've probably signed up for it. Um, this is a really great way to get people to, again, maybe buy extra things while they're in checkout, or hey, I get free shipping because I'm a loyalty member. There's different ways you can do this, and have people, again, return to your store, return to your online store, have those repeat visits. It's not just about that one-time visit. So I think loyalty is definitely a way to go and get that repeat business. I kind of mentioned this before, but like a lot of shopping carts will offer different things. It's kind of like when you're standing in line at the checkout at, like, I don't know, any kind of retail store, and they have all these little trinkets or like chocolates or different like gift sets, and you end up adding more things to your cart. So I think those are like other, ways that you can kind of, maybe offer something festive, like festive socks at a, really cheap rate during checkout process. Those kind of things are, people really, really give into those. I love those.
Great ideas. Yeah, I recently received an email from one of my favorite boutiques here in town, and she's running at 12 days of Christmas. And so, one day is like a discount on everything red, and I think today is a discount on earrings, and then she's just doing a different category or group of items each day. So I thought that was a really
Like that.
fun way to kind of get in the spirit and create a
Hmm.
great holiday offer. Now, no matter what you're promoting, you want to draw attention to it, and you can often do that by pairing your offer with a valuable resource. Your information in your message, it doesn't always have to be such a hard sell, bam, in your face. You can use a piece of valuable content to really draw people into your offer and your messaging, catch their attention, and then that can lead to a sale. You can provide content or information that really shows your expertise and provides value to your audience. So, Rachel, could you share some examples of content that our audience might want to think about?
Yeah, I think, Steph, you have some really good ideas actually here on the slide, offering menu pairings or, wine pairings if you're a wine shop, recipes. All those are really great ideas, and people are always looking for that type of content anyways. So by adding that to your offer, you're just providing even more value and trust in your business from your consumers. One thing I'll call out, especially with this year, you know, we spend so much time at home, right? I have two boys. My kids are remote, so they're at home a lot. We're at home a lot, and finding things to do, right? Like, what are some ideas of ways to make this time of year memorable, even though it's not going to maybe be what we normally do every other year just because of the pandemic? What are some creative ways that people can have things to do, and whether it's local events or, family friendly events in your area that you can kind of make people aware of, or even just craft ideas or things, to keep us busy at home. I think that's just a great way to show value to your consumers.
Great ideas for this year, especially. Now, once you've figured out an offer, you're going to want to start to think about the messaging itself. And for this, we suggest you answer 3 questions. You want to provide your audience with the information they're going to need and entice them to take action. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what are you offering? The answer to this question is going to serve as your headline text. This is where you want to be brief and you want to pique their interest because you want them to read more. And that leads into the message body, which is the second question. How will it help the reader? This is where you want to provide enough details and information so they'll be able to take the action you want them to take. In the third question you want to answer yourself, this serves as your call to action. So if you're working in an email campaign, you've got your button, the answer to this is going to be the text on that button. This is where you want to tell them specifically what it is you want them to do. And what I want to mention here is that these 3 questions can be used in any of the channels that we're going to talk about today. And in some of the channels like social media and even ads, you're going to want to adjust that verbiage slightly to optimize it for each channel. Let's talk a little bit more about messaging because, of course, you're going to want to catch their attention. So what other tips do you have here when people are crafting their messages?
You know, whether you are a sucker for this type of season or not, I mean, I love it. More than likely, your customers are looking for something to brighten their day. This has been a tough year. So focus on the spirit of the season, right? You don't have to be overly, decorative with, tinsel and all these things, but really kind of tap into that spirit of the season. And people, like I said, are looking for something that's going to provide a positive impact on their daily norm, and just their overall well-being. So talk about how your products or your services that you offer can do that for them. Tell the story, right? People love a good story. If you have a customer, maybe you have a favorite customer, and they have a testimonial of how your product has helped them, that's a great way to kind of entice other people to really buy into what you have and what offer you have. And make sure that that messaging is everywhere, your website, your email campaigns, and that should really just be emphasized in all the different marketing activities that you do. You'll notice that a lot of the things that we're talking about here on the screen really appeal to people's emotions, right? And you think about using, what we call power words, and that's really just helping you elicit a psychological or emotional response. You want to persuade people to do something, right? To take an action, and power words do that. So.
All great ideas. And we do have a resource we'll have Jake share in the chat window. And it's got a whole list of power words so that you can go in there and find ones that will really work with the messaging that you're trying to convey and catch people's attention. Now, of course, another element of your holiday messaging is going to be the visuals that you use. Now, in general, of course, make it feel festive. And you also want to make a connection with your customers in one way or another. In a lot of cases, we do recommend using your own photos where you can. And that's because in today's world, images are easier than ever to capture with a smartphone. You might think of capturing behind the scenes images or action shots, or even you unboxing something and hanging it on the rack for the holidays. Now, of course, stock images may be a need for a lot of you as well. So, Rachel, I was hoping you could talk about your recommendations here. Where can people find great stock photos, and what kind of photos do you suggest they look for? I think we've all seen a campaign or a website that has that one cheesy image that just kind of turns people off and makes people cringe.
Yeah. I think so. To answer your question on where to find it, there's a ton of places you can find it. You can purchase stock images very easily online, and I think the key here is to use images that you have permission to use. So if you are on a budget and you don't want to be able to have to pay for a stock image, if you have Constant Contact, you can search. Actually, the image library has a plethora of free images that you can use. Another website that's a really good resource is unsplash.com. It has a lot of great stock photos. In terms of what photos to use, now, if your business is going for that cheesy vibe and that's kind of your that's your personality, that's one thing. But I think a lot of businesses, may not be going for that. So you want to choose images that make sense for your business, right? If you sell children's toys, you're not going to be choosing stock photos that have, businessmen in it. It just doesn't make sense, right? You need to make sure that you're appealing to your audience and what they can relate to, and what they can maybe see themselves in, right? And it should make sense with the messaging and the kind of overall vibe of your business, of what brand you're trying to display here. So those are kind of the things I would be mindful of, is kind of going for that personality, choosing images that are visually striking, clear, not blurry. Those are kind of basic tips there.
Definitely. Now, one thing I want to mention too is that you might think about customizing stock photos to make them stand out, especially from someone else who may have used that same photo. You could even customize your own images that you've taken, and you can do that right from within Constant Contact using the image editor. You might simply add in a holiday message or a call to action, or maybe layer on another graphical element like a snowman or snowflakes across the bottom of the image or something along those lines. Now, video can also play a big role for the holidays. So what advice do you have there?
I love video. And the great thing about video, especially now with, the smartphones, that they have such great cameras on them that you can just easily take a 20-30 second video from your phone. And it doesn't have to be this huge video production. And it's, something that just says happy holidays, or thanking, your customers for being loyal to this year. Maybe you're highlighting a new product, or unboxing new items that you could have a customer unbox an item and have them send you videos. There's just so much you can do with video. One report I've seen actually from Wistia says that emails that feature video receive a 300% higher click-through rate than those that don't have any video. And on Facebook, posts that have videos get shared around 12 times as often as text-only posts or posts that have images. So video is a great asset to have. Test it out, test the waters, see what resonates well with your audience.
And even if it's just a short video of maybe you and your staff waving virtually, or if you're in your physical store, you have them waving and saying happy holidays or something like that. Lots of great options. Just get creative with it. So now you've all got some tips and suggestions that are going to help you to create a successful holiday offer and messaging. Just remember, as you're getting started online, especially if you're not already selling online, you can use that shoppable landing page feature. And just remember, you don't have to put your entire store in there. Make it quick and simple for you right now, and just pick maybe 3 of your most popular items. And then make sure your message feels festive. You can create a sense of urgency and appeal to your customers' emotions so that you can grab their attention. Don't forget about the use of images and video, just spending a few minutes to really think about how it's all going to come together in the end so that you can capture the spirit of the season and grab their attention. And maybe add in a few personal elements if it's pictures or videos of your staff. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about staying top of mind with existing customers and followers. And I want to start by talking about email here because it can play a big role in your holiday planning. You can create holiday emails really quickly through Constant Contact, and we've got our easy to use drag and drop editor. You might start from choosing one of, I think, over 30 fully customizable templates, but I feel like a few more have been added since I last did that tally. We've got a few of the holiday themes here. There's other big holidays within the templates, or other fun graphics that you see that you'll find in the template picker. Now, for those of you who've already been using Constant Contact for a while, another option would be to actually use your existing branded template and add in one or maybe a few festive elements. So I wanted to show you a few examples here. This first one actually has a background image behind the outside orange border there. We'll see snowflakes and gift boxes. You can actually upload any image into the library and simply add it to your background. A thing to note here is that the image is going to title, so it's best to choose an image that the image is going to appear seamless, because if you have some really striking seams in there, it can distract from your overall message. I like this one because it's pretty simple with snowflakes and gift boxes. And when I'm playing with this feature and using the background images, I like to maybe pick one or two to start with so that I can see which one actually looks best, because the size of the original image is actually going to have an effect on how the tiles are going to appear to you. The next option is to choose a holiday themed stock image, and that's just a simple way to add a festive element to your design. Again, you can do that from the image library within Constant Contact, or you can upload something else. The next example here actually has an image at the top and bottom, and the bottom image is actually just flipped around. Again, that's using the image editor to make the message flow really nicely in there. And last but not least, this one's a little bit more simple approach if maybe you've got some stricter brand guidelines to follow. This one has actually used the 3-column block within the editor. Just drag it in, and then you can add the elements you want. For this one, I added the gift box image into the middle, and I also added in some divider lines on each side of that. And again, it's just click and drag, easy to do. Now, creating emails, what I want to mention is it can only be as complicated as you make it. So I always just say keep it simple. What other tips do you have that would help people to quickly design holiday emails?
I think you hit the nail right on the head, Steph. Keeping it simple is key. And that really is just, as you can see here in the example, it's a picture, a few sentences of a paragraph, and then your call to action, or that thing that you want them to do, which in this example is a button, right? This saves you time creating it. Remember, we're talking about last minute shoppers here, last minute marketing for the holidays. So any ways you have to save time is best. And people don't want to be digging for your offer. So make sure that it stands out, that it's simple, easy to read, and that your call to action actually goes where they anticipate it to go. So if you're featuring a specific product, don't link to your homepage. Please just link directly to that pay flow for that product, because that's what you want them to do. You want them to purchase. You don't want them to have to, do a scavenger hunt on your website, because they won't. They'll just give up and move on to the next thing. So yeah, I think those are kind of the big things. And if you use a shoppable landing page, if you're not selling online and you want to use a shoppable landing page, this is a great way to kind of get the same point across. You can link to that landing page. So once you create it, once you publish that landing page, you can actually link to it within your email campaign or post it on your social channels. And it's a great way to get your products out there as well.
Great points. I love the point about the call to action, because sometimes I see people just make that mistake of linking to the homepage on their website. Yeah. I don't have time to search. A lot of people don't as well. And we don't want them to fall out of the flow and forget about making that purchase from you.
Right.
Now, if time allows, we actually suggest to send a short 3-part series of emails, and that's going to help you to get the word out before the actual holiday or your promotion ends. Now, we suggest an announcement email, a reminder, and then a last chance reminder email. Now, I know some of you are probably sitting there thinking, well, that seems like way too many emails. I don't want to bother people. Your customers are even busier during this holiday season, so you want to give them a chance to take advantage of that offer and a reminder. I have a small child, like I mentioned earlier, and Rachel has 2 children, and I can't tell you how many times I've been reading an email, going to make a purchase or something like that, and my child needs a snack or needs help with something. So this is the perfect example of why you want to do something like this. Yeah. If for some reason you run short on time and you don't have time to send all 3, just do as many as you can, because the idea is to get something out there so that your existing subscribers are actually thinking about you. Plus, something like this can help you to build anticipation and excitement for your offer. Now, I typically spread these emails about a week apart, so send the first one about 3 weeks out from the end date of your campaign, with a week in between each email campaign. Now, remember, this timeline can be flexible and it can be shortened to work with the resources that you have. So let's move on and talk about social, because you're going to want to spend a little time here thinking about what you actually want to post so you can get some results. So there are two things, or actually three things we want you to focus on here. Create posts that drive awareness of your products and services, and also encourage people to take action. What are some examples of posts that our audience might create to drive awareness over the holidays?
Oh, this is kind of a fun one. Um, this time of year is fun because you can feature, ways that you're prepping for the holidays, or um, ways they can prepare for the holidays, do behind the scenes, photos and things of your store, or how you kind of run things. We've mentioned this a couple times, but unboxing items are big. Like, I don't know how many times, like, if I let my child sit and just watch unboxing videos all day, he probably would. So people are interested in what you have to offer, and this is a really fun way to do that. Video walkthroughs of your store, showing the outside of your store. If you have a brick and mortar shop, it's a great way to kind of let people recognize you when they see you when they're out and about.
Now, what about suggestions you have for creating posts that encourage the audience to take action?
I think obvious ones are, what are those products or items that are, selling like hotcakes that people love? What items are on sale? Make sure you're, promoting those on your social channels as well, and feeding them back to your online store, or back to the landing page, right? The shoppable landing page that you have. I really kind of hate to use this term, but try to think outside the box. Non-promotional ideas are great too. You don't always have to be selling while you're a retail business. That's your primary goal, is to sell. You can also engage your audience by asking them like fun questions, like, hey, what are your most, favorite holiday traditions, or what's the worst gift you ever received, or the best gift you've ever received, and that gets people talking, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, getting actions and seeing their responses is another way that you can just get in there and interact with them.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to note with social media is people are likely to search you out on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn to get answers to their questions or to get a resolution to a problem. So what I want to mention there is just make sure you're prepared to answer those inquiries and actually paying attention. Constant Contact has actual social media tools that will allow you to save time in your posts and even managing those conversations that you're having with people. You can share to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram without having to log into each platform separately and make your posts. You can do it all from within that account. Now, a few minutes ago, we talked about the 3-email plan for your time-based offer, and we want to suggest that you do something similar for social media. Post an announcement, then a reminder, and then a last chance reminder, and you'll follow a similar cadence. We'll show you a calendar or a suggestion of a calendar here towards the end that will show you an example timeline. On that note, I do want to share just a few quick tips that you may want to consider for your social media strategy. You can actually boost your reach by creating a Facebook event. You don't have to create the typical event that people tend to think of here. It can just be when your sale is running. So in this example, it's running from the 7th to the 8th for the winter market. Now, that's a great way, because I don't know if you've noticed on Facebook, especially if someone ever says they're interested in an event or they're attending, other people or their friends and followers that are following them are going to see that information. Also, think about using location tagging, especially if you want to bring people into your physical store. That's just going to help people who are searching nearby. And then don't forget about the use of hashtags. These can be especially helpful on Twitter and Instagram. Think about a hashtag for a big shopping day or a holiday, or even these examples that we have on the screen, holiday gift ideas or holiday shopping. It just allows more people to find your content online. So now you've got some great tips for using email and social that'll help you to stay top of mind. Just remember, email is only as complicated and time consuming as you make it. So keep your emails short and focused. No matter what, you can create a holiday theme quickly. You can use a holiday themed template, which is great, or simply modify your existing template with one or a few holiday elements. And then don't forget, you can use social media. You want to drive awareness, you want to drive action, and it's also where people are going to go to ask their questions or even to gripe or solve a problem. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to talk about targeting new customers with digital ads. Online advertising is a really great way for you to quickly drive business over the holiday season. That's because these tools we're going to talk about have some really great targeting features. You might consider Facebook and Instagram ads as well as Google ads that'll help you to get in front of more people. Now, in order to get results from your ads or really with anything in marketing, we do suggest that you sit down and do a little bit of planning, and that way you can make sure you're putting some effort into your ads so it can be successful. For someone who's never run an ad and is just getting started with these types of ads, Rachel, what is the first step to planning?
I think, we've mentioned this with a lot of the marketing tactics, but think about those maybe top 3 selling items and focus your ad and your messaging around those. You could create a few to run simultaneously or just have them kind of prepared for the next round of testing if you don't have enough in the budget. But that's a good place to start, is those top 3 selling items.
Awesome. Well, the second part to that is then starting to think about the keywords and interests that are going to be associated with each of those products so that you can start to target the right people for them. So Google Ads is going to operate based off of keywords, of course, location too, but basically the keywords that people are going to search with. So how do you figure out which keywords you should be using for your ad targeting?
This can be a little bit of an intimidating topic when you are first getting started, like, oh, I don't know what the heck keywords are, or what do I do with it? And the simplest way I can put this is think about how your customers describe or talk about the products that you sell or the services that you have. A lot of times, the way that you describe your products is not the way that your customers describe it. So you really need to try to put yourself in the consumer's shoe and how they are going to be searching for what you have to offer. And that's kind of where you want to start. Constant Contact's tool for Google Ads is really great because you start by putting in the link to the page that you're going to want to drive people to. And again, that page should be the ultimate page, the landing page that you want them to go on. Don't just put your home page as a general call to action, but really direct them to that exact action or step that you want them to take. And then when you put that link in, the system's going to pull any relevant keywords based on that page, based on that link. And then you're kind of starting from 80 as opposed to like 0, right? So you can kind of go in and review what the system's chosen for keywords. You can add keywords. You can remove keywords that you don't think are relevant. And when you're in that tool, you're going to see how many potential people that your ad could reach. The goal really isn't to try and get as many, millions and millions of people on there, but you really want to focus on targeting the right customer for your products or your services that you're driving towards.
Yes, I like your point about thinking about the audience and what they would use to search, because we've discovered that on our own team here, right, Rachel, where the verbiage that the customer is using is not what we are using. Yep. Now, Facebook is actually a little bit different. You can target based off of demographics and interests. Well, how should a retailer choose the right interests?
Really creative or easy way to do this is use a lookalike audience. You can also do this in Constant Contact, but a lookalike audience is basically taking your existing contacts that you have, and it sends their email addresses over to Facebook anonymously. And on the back end, Facebook is using their, magic algorithms, and they're compiling demographics and the interests of that existing audience to create a new group of people that look like them. to present your ad to. And again, it's done anonymously, so they're really just taking that data about your audience and creating a new audience that looks like them to present your offer. You do need to have a fairly decent size list to use that lookalike audience feature. You need a list size of at least 300 email contacts for the system to match appropriately. If you don't have that many contacts, don't fret. You can also do a custom audience. You're just going to need to choose the interest and the demographic information based on what you already know about your audience. So there might be some testing in there, some trial and error, because you're going to need to match those keywords with actual interests on social media. So for instance, we have a customer that here in Massachusetts, it sells French gifts, and they found that they could reach their audience based on people that chose their travel or wealth management as an interest on social. So it's really interesting. You know, you really need to kind of test into this, but it can be a lot of fun and can be really rewarding for driving people to your business.
Great tips there. Let's move on to the third step for creating an ad, which goes back to your messaging. What tips do you have for writing effective ad copy?
I think this goes back to those 3 questions that you were talking about before. You do have limited space with ads, so you have to keep that in mind. You can use a main keyword in the headline and description because people are scanning, right? We're scanners. We need to kind of see if this is relevant for what we're looking for. So make sure that that is relevant and prevalent in what you're doing. Your Google ad is not going to include a button like your Facebook ad will. So you have to make sure that your call to action is in the text. And that call to action is just whatever you want them to do.
Awesome. So the next piece of this is actually thinking about a budget. And we want to make sure you have a decent budget in order to give it enough time and to reach enough people to see whether it worked or what didn't, and then you can make changes in the future. So what are your suggestions for setting the right kind of budget?
Yeah, we get this comes up a lot in customer questions, like how much should I spend? It depends on your business, but we recommend setting aside, $150 if you can, to start and test into paid ads. Then you just need to kind of watch and see what works and what doesn't work. And then you can invest more in what might be working. You might have certain messaging that just isn't resonating with your audience, and maybe you need to switch and test that up. Maybe you need to target, different people, and you might want to test out different keywords. So it's all about testing when you're talking about ads. And then once you kind of hit that sweet spot, you can, throw more budget, more money to it.
I love your mention of testing, very important in ads and anything to do with marketing, which also leads into the next piece, which is reviewing and maintaining your ad. So for Google and Facebook ads, what are some of the key stats to look at?
Really, it's clicks. If your clicks are low, again, I mentioned testing different messaging, and don't test everything at once because you want to see what moves the needle. So whether it's your targeting or your messaging that maybe needs to be tweaked, do one at a time, and then give it some time. It's not going to be overnight. You're not going to see results. It does take several days. So I'd give it at least a week before you really know how it's performing, and then you can adjust that based on what you're seeing.
Exactly. Don't just say you run an ad and it was successful or it wasn't successful and then not do it again. You can really learn a lot by looking at these stats that Rachel is talking about.
Yeah.
So we wanted to show you a few examples from one of our customers. And this first one is actually a lead ad. And this is La Provence, which Rachel kind of mentioned before. So over here on the right is some of her targeting information. Her audience skews to female. She's chosen the ages of 35 to 65. And then over here, where I'm pointing my mouse, in this left-hand column are specific areas in Massachusetts that she knows a lot of her audience comes from into the physical store. She's a small business, so she gets to have those one-on-one conversations with people, which is great, and it informs her ability to target the ad. Over here, for the interests that have been chosen here, French cuisine, culture of France, tablecloth. Tablecloths are actually one of her most popular items, really beautiful items if you're into that kind of thing. And then La Provence is another interest that she's chosen here. Now, in this next example, the first one on the left is a lead ad, again, that's growing your email list. This next one here is a Facebook ad that is direct to purchase. So you'll notice it's a little bit different down here at the bottom. You're including your image, your messaging, and things like that. But the button, instead of sign up, actually says shop now, and it drives directly to the store on her website. This next one is an example for the same store, and this one is for Google search. So when we put in the landing page here that we are driving people to, we'll see the keywords that came up: home linens, home decor, different sizes and shapes of tablecloths, because that is, of course, the product that was focused on for this particular ad, made in France, and things like that. So I hope this is at least starting to inspire you about the ads you can create. Now, we don't have time to show you how to create ads today, but we do have some tutorials that we'll share a link to in the questions window. So keep an eye out for that. So now you know how to create those paid ads, and what we want to suggest, make sure you spend some time now to actually plan out your ad. Don't just link to the main page or focus on your overall business. Think about those best-selling items so that you can really get the targeting correct. You can also use Facebook lead ads to grow your list, and then regular Facebook and Instagram ads to help you drive people to make a purchase. And also, don't forget about Google Ads. That's going to help you to really compete in search. And most specifically with that one, the big tip there is to make sure you put a call to action in your description, like order today or even shop now. So I've mentioned it a few times throughout, but we really do suggest you spend a little time to do some planning. So after the webinar, try to take 15 minutes today, sit down and plan what you want to send and when you want to post. So let's just say we're going to run an offer and it ends on the 26th at the start of Kwanzaa. Now, if we follow the 3-email plan to specifically promote our offer, we can start on the 9th and spread them out a week, and we'll send the last email right before Christmas Eve. That way we're not inundating people's inbox and we've got hopefully their full attention. And we can follow a similar cadence if we use that 3-post plan there. And if we start to sprinkle a few other social media posts throughout, maybe on the 4th tomorrow, you can share a link to encourage people to join your list to get an exclusive offer. You could feature one of your most popular products or an unboxing of that popular product. Maybe on the 19th or the 17th, you can share a behind the scenes of things that are happening at your store. And then maybe on the 24th, just share a happy holidays message. And then on the 14th, for example, in this one, we could use a direct to purchase for Facebook and Instagram and have that run through the 26th as well. All right, so now you're ready to capture those last minute shoppers and really rock this holiday season. So as we wrap up, make sure you start by building your holiday offer. You can create some festive and engaging messaging to catch your audience's attention. Don't forget, you can use that shoppable landing page feature to sell online more quickly than you think and really boost your sales. And don't forget, your audience is really busy this holiday season. So you can use that 3-post and 3-email plan to, again, announce your offer, remind them, and then provide a last chance opportunity for them to take advantage of it. And don't forget about the use of paid ads. These can be added into your strategy as well. You can use those lead ads to grow your email list, which might be great in these next couple of weeks, and then even Google or regular Facebook and Instagram ads to directly drive people to purchase. Now, we've actually put together a page on our website. It's got tons more holiday marketing resources. So we'll have Jake share a link to that in the chat window. So keep an eye out for that. And also, if you don't already have an account, we would really encourage you to sign up for a free trial. You can go to constantcontact.com to see that option or look for a link from Jake. Now, just a note, when we do end the webinar today, you will see a survey pop up. It's just 2 simple questions, and we really would love to get your feedback. All right, so let's get to some of these really great questions, and thank you so much for being here and sharing all of your great knowledge, Rachel.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Happy to do it.
Definitely. Yeah, so I see Robin asks, do the background images affect time loading the emails? Do you want to take a stab at that one first?
You know, my guess would be it probably depends on the email client and how good of a bandwidth you have. I think anytime, if you're some email clients I know will strip that background image out. So just make sure that you have like a neutral background or something that goes with the rest of your email template if it does in fact do that. I would worry more about that and less about it actually loading, because I think people are going to be forgiving if they know that their bandwidth isn't great anyways.
That's a great point. And in my experience, it is not going to affect it, especially when you use the editor in Constant Contact, because when you upload images into Constant Contact into the library, in some cases, if it's a larger image, it's going to compress it, because we don't want you to send out an email that has a ginormously large image, because especially people with slower bandwidths, it's probably not going to load that. So we kind of have that protection in place for you. So in most cases, it is not going to affect it. But great point there. Just make sure you have a background color in case it doesn't show, because there are some email clients where it won't. So Epiphany asks, does your shoppable landing page offer an option to connect existing sales platforms such as Etsy or Facebook Marketplace? So this one with shoppable landing pages, it actually connects to the Constant Contact online store that you can create. However, if you go to the Create button in your account from the Campaigns tab, you'll see the Landing Pages option. And it's a newer feature we have, but you can design your own landing page, whatever you want, and then you can put pictures of your products to them on Facebook Marketplace or Etsy, and then just provide the links to those specific pages on that site. That's a great way to get around it, but no, it doesn't directly integrate with that. So great question. Let's see, Kathleen asks, this question is about ads. I would like more details on keywords, how Constant Contact automatically picks them out and posts them. Is this on Google Ads or Facebook? I've run a Facebook ad, not especially successful. So something to think about there is go in, look at your stats like we were talking about and see, are your clicks really low? You might start to change out the verbiage in your headline, or maybe the offer, or it could in fact be something to do with the image that wasn't catching your audience's attention. Or of course, maybe something with your targeting is off. Something that I think would be really valuable if you're struggling and you really want some expert advice is our Marketing Advisor program. It is an additional fee, but it can do with an expert in your specific industry who can help you with those types of things, ads, email, anything else. Now for Google, Google is the one that actually uses the keywords that we're talking about. And what it does is when you put it into the system, it'll actually scan all of the words that you're using on that page and determines what might be relevant. Now, I've seen it choose some that are popular keywords in Google, but maybe not necessarily the best connection with the page that you're driving people to. So in that case, I would suggest just going in there and using your own discretion, but really it just goes through a scanning process to see what's on that page. And feel free to jump in there if you have anything else to add, Rachel.
No, I think one thing I would add too is if you are looking to kind of dive a little bit deeper and learn a little bit more about whether it's Facebook ads or Google ads, our blog, we have a lot of great content that can give you and go a lot more deeper into those topics than what we can cover here. And I'm sure Jake can post some of his favorite blog posts that on those topics too in here. So encourage to check those out.
Definitely. So I think we've got a few more questions. Rachel, do you mind just sticking out for maybe 5 more minutes? Sure. So that we can try to cover the rest?
Yeah, no
And
problem.
if for some reason you need to leave, I do want to be respectful of your time. Feel free to hop out, and this part is also being recorded as well. So this next one is another question from Epiphany. I'm launching a new product line. I sell a related product component on Etsy already. I'm considering a shoppable landing page for the new line. That would connect to Etsy for the related product. Will it do that? So let me reread that question in my mind.
Yeah, that is
So
an
the
interesting one.
shoppable landing page, no, that's not going to connect with Etsy. Again, it's using the Constant Contact store. You can, again, use that regular landing page and just add your product images and your links in there. That's a great way to go about it. What I do want to mention, I see some questions in here about WooCommerce and Etsy and a few other places. Those actually connect with Constant Contact in some other ways so that you can sync your contacts with Constant Contact. We're continually improving those integrations, so it might be something that can be done in the future. But for now, I know the contact syncs will really work in there. If you already have an account, just click on the integrations tab at the top and you'll see what's available, and then you can go in there and then choose to connect and follow those prompts to get something like that set up. Let's see. I think we've covered all of them with that one. Actually, I see one just pop in from Sheila. What is the Constant Contact store? So it's fairly new functionality along with our website editor. So you can go in there, again, you can create a website, add the store directly to your website. That same store functionality is also what connects your shoppable landing page, if that's the option that you choose. You can create your products in there. You can have product images, add your product descriptions, and then all of your e-commerce people are going to pay through the connection that you set up. There's a few different options. PayPal is the most popular one. And Dave has actually just popped a link for all of you in that chat window for those of you who are interested in that as well. All right, so I believe we've gotten through all of the questions. So I want to thank you all so much for attending our webinar today. And Rachel, thank you again for being here to share your expertise and your experience with us. I thought it was fun, and you shared a lot of really great information with the audience today.
It was so much fun. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm going to go ahead and close out of the webinar. Thank you, cut out, Rachel.
That's okay. I was just saying I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. And don't forget, there is a survey that's going to pop up at the end. Just let us know what you thought of the webinar today. It shouldn't take any more than 1 or 2 minutes unless you want to write us a nice description of what you thought about it. Just 2 simple minutes probably at the most. All right, so thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you lots of success in the holiday season and beyond. So have a great day. Bye now.
Happy holidays.